I'm talking about Outlander's 13th episode of Season 1, The Watch. Hello everyone, I'm your host Betty. Thanks for listening to the podcast today. So in my last episode, I talked about how Mid-Hope Castle, I thought it was going to be becoming a bread and breakfast or maybe a hotel or something. That's not what it's being turned into. It's actually being turned into a distillery. So, yeah. So, but that's still cool that it's gonna find life, renewed life. So that's awesome. So another thing I want to bring up at the top of this episode, so that I know everybody will hear it. I know that I have a bunch of listeners. I mean, well, maybe not a bunch, but I have a few. If you're listening to this, I really appreciate you, and I want to say thank you so much, because it means the world to me that y'all are taking your time out of your day just to hear me ramble on about Outlander or whatever show we're talking about. That being said, I'm not getting a lot of interaction on my social medias, and I'm afraid that maybe y'all don't know how to find me, or y'all don't feel welcome to share your thoughts with me. I don't know. But if you look in the description, and I'm going to leave it in the description again, I leave a link tree. And if you click that link, or if you're on a phone, you just push the link. You can find all of my social medias. I'm on Discord, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, whatever, you name it, I'm probably on it. And I even have an email address. So I would love to hear from all of y'all. I mean, if you're listening, just, find me. I mean, I'm going to admit that I'm on Facebook more than any of the other places, but, I do monitor those other social platforms. So, if you get a hold of me on any of those things, I will see it. I may not see it right away, but I will eventually see it. I really want to hear from y'all. I almost feel like I'm talking to myself, but, I know I'm not, because, the anchor numbers don't lie. I don't think they lie. So, I look at that and I see y'all, So I want to hear from y'all. Please, try to find me on any of the social medias. Like I said, I hang out on Facebook a lot, but if y'all come to me on Discord and that becomes the more, trafficked site, then I'll switch over to Discord, and we will talk on Discord. Same with Twitter, or Instagram, or any of the social medias. I want to hear from all of you guys, because I want to get to know y'all. I want to know what y'all want to hear. Like, yesterday, I got a message from a friend of mine, that she listens to the podcast, I think. And she was talking to me about all her favorite shows and stuff, and I know I chose Cobra Kai, because I didn't get a whole bunch of votes. So I basically just chose it. I chose Farmhouse Fixer, but if y'all don't want me to be choosing the shows like that, if there is something y'all want to hear me talk about, then let me know, because I can't read minds. But, with all that being said, I am going to continue to cover Cobra Kai, and I am going to continue to cover Farmhouse Fixer and Outlander. But, once them shows are over, it'll be time to vote for a new show, or pick a new show. And I would love to hear y'all's feedback on that. So just find me. I mean, I am on every social media platform there is, I promise. And if I'm not, let me know, and we'll go over there, okay? So anyway, let's just get into the episode that we're discussing, Outlander. The synopsis reads, Jamie finds himself between a rock and a hard place when a redcoat deserter from his past resurfaces. Claire tends to a laboring Jenny, while Jamie and Ian join the watch, resulting in a devastating consequences. Okay, so this episode, it starts out with Jamie, right where we left off in the last episode with that guy holding a gun to Jamie's head. And Jamie, he says that I hope that your powder's dry, because if you misfire, I'm going to ram that gun down your throat. And, the guy says, well, let's find out. And he holds, he cocks the gun and holds it up to his head closer. And Claire comes down the stairs, and as she's coming down the stairs, Jenny comes by, and she recognizes the guy that has the gun to Jamie's head, and she calls him Taryn, and she says to put his gun away because that's her cousin Jamie McTavish. And so the guy, says that he never seen him before, so he was just protecting the house. That's what the watch do for Lollybrook. And then Jenny, she goes on to say that he just came over one day, without no warning, and he was married. And that's when Claire steps up and says, yeah, Jenny and Ian didn't know that they were married. And when she talks, one of the guys notices that she's a Sassenach, she's English. And Jenny says, we don't mind her English so much because, she's a good wife, she's a good woman. And that's when the man introduced himself properly. He says he's Taryn McQuarrie, and he apologizes again. He thought Jamie was trying to rob the place. And Jenny says, no, we leave the robbing to you. And then in this moment, Ian, he comes in the door, and he's gives McQuarrie, or he tells him that we weren't expecting you till next week, and then he hands McQuarrie his sword and shows him that he had it sharpened for him. And then McQuarrie, of course, he wants Jenny to go and get the supper ready and everything, and so she excuses herself, and you can tell that Jamie is upset that they're helping these men out, so he follows her into the kitchen. So Jenny goes into the kitchen and tells Mrs. Crook to get the dinner ready because Taryn McCreary has arrived. And Jamie, he's upset that, why are y'all helping the watch, and all of this. And, he has a price on his head and all this. And Ian comes in and says that they won't do anything. And of course, Jamie asks how long have they been coming. And Jenny says like every other month for 2 years, and Jamie says that if he was there, he would have never agreed to it. And Jenny, she points out, well, you weren't here, and we needed protection. And Claire at this moment says that they need to keep their voice down because they may hear them. And so Ian, he says that they did what they had to do. It's their burden to bear, to invite the watch into their home because, they don't want what happened to Jenny and Jamie to happen again. And these guys give them protection from that. And while they're talking, Jenny, she has an outburst of pain, and Claire runs over there to check on her, and Jamie asks if it's the Baron, and it's like, yeah, Jamie. Claire tells him that he needs to be careful, don't provoke them, and they'll be on their way soon, so just get through this, and we'll get through it. So the next scene they go to, they're all having dinner, and McCreary is like talking to Jamie, wondering, how he knows, Ian and stuff. And they talk about how they were in the war in France and everything together. But McCreary points out that, he's been coming around and speaking with Ian and everything like that, and Ian has never brought Jamie up before. And Ian points out that, he thinks he probably has brought him up, but McCreary says, no, you haven't. And then Jenny pipes in and says that probably if y'all were too busy in the drink, you'd remember. So anyway, this McCreary gets up and he says a Scottish, our toast. And I wrote it down, and it says, Here's to a long life and a merry one, a quick death and an easy one, a pretty girl and an honest one, a stiff whiskey and another one. And of course they all toast. And then he sits back down, and a guy sitting there, next to him, he puts his feet on the table. And this upsets Jamie. He's giving him the evil eye. And anyway, McQuarrie pushes his boots off the table.